Hey, new to me too, buddy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they've updated GoToMeeting, and this just happened on the 1st, and I was messing with it yesterday, and man, it was like a whole new program. So hopefully I can, if things go kind of crazy tonight, you'll know why. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Kerry Miller. For all of you that are new on board, it's an absolute pleasure to have you to come to the trainings on Wednesday nights. We do these each and every Wednesday night, and it's always a good time. We have some good training. Tonight we've got a special guest on board with us, Shari Claborn, and she's going to be sharing some things with us, how she does business. And one thing in particular, I was on the phone with Shari. I think it was over the holidays. I can't remember what day it was. But she was talking to me about her table tents and how she does her table tents, and it just really intrigued me. Shari's a very, well, there's no other way to put it. She's just a workaholic. And maybe that's why I love her so much, because she just absolutely goes for it. And she's kind of like me. She works 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and then figures out that she hadn't had any sleep yet. So, but we're going to bring Shari on board, and I greatly appreciate her taking her time, and I wanted to just share some things with you. So before we get started, I just want to make sure the best and fastest way for you to find out if we have uploaded anything new videos and so forth, join our YouTube channel. It's the Instant App Wizard YouTube channel. If you click on any of our videos, it'll take you to the channel. Join that channel, and that way you'll get a email every time that we upload a new video, like the trainings that we upload every single week. And also like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Instant App Wizard. And there's always some great stuff on there. Sean keeps that updated, and there's always a lot of great information. So without further ado, I've got Shari plugged in, and I think I've got her turned on here with the microphone.
I am here, Kerry.
Very, very good, and she sounds great this evening. Shari, we're going to just jump right in this thing tonight, and okay. Just take a moment, if you would, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you do it, what you've done in the past, and then I'm just going to ask you some questions on some of the things that we talked about earlier this week.
Oh, sure, not a problem, Kerry. My name is Shari Claborn. Everybody can read that right on their screen, I hope. But I am here in Southern California. I'm near Palm Springs. I'm in a town called Indio. Some people might have heard of that, but not a whole lot of folks. But I consider the whole, Southern California is my backyard when it comes to doing business. And I have been an entrepreneur with the blessing of my husband, for a good number of years. He's been the clock puncher and the one that's out there, bringing in the bread, which gives me some opportunity, and has over the years when my kids were growing up, to be able to run my own show and have my own business and work the hours that I could work. And now I'm blessed to say all my children are healthy, happy, and raised and out of the house and on their own and doing their own thing, which is a blessing. But I still keep them close in my heart and in my daily life, because they're actually part of my business now. When I came across Instant App Wizard this past summer, it was a very, very good fit for me and for my family. To be able to produce some kind of income other than just the 9-to-5 job, where you're dependent on somebody else to make that income, happen. Them keeping you employed, basically. I come from a background of entrepreneurship, and I've done all sorts of things. I have so many hats hanging on my wall. My wall's not big enough for the hats I have. But for the most part, the majority of my business over the past 15, 20 years has been as a graphic artist, a layout and design artist, and a photographer. And so my kids have kind of followed suit. They're very creative. They have a lot of computer skills. I've kept up on my computer skills. I'm ahead of the game in some aspects, but they're always willing to sit down and pay attention and let me teach them something new. And I can say that Instant App Wizard just went hand in hand with my skill sets and where I saw my family and my business world headed. I'm not I'm not ancient, but I can tell you that schlepping around with a bunch of photography equipment on my shoulders and having to get up and down off the ground, my knees are not going to put up with this for much longer. I'll tell everyone I'm at least 50 years old. I got a couple of years on top of that. But and I did just shoot a wedding last Saturday, but I try to limit my the requirements of the physicality of that kind of job anymore. Is certainly you know, it takes its toll. And so Instant App Wizard fits very well into what I saw myself doing now that my kids are grown. My youngest is 20. She graduated high school a couple years ago, and she's on board with me, helping me put apps together, because she was a layout and design editor for a yearbook the last 2 years in her high school. And so she's got the graphic capabilities, and I'm teaching them anything that they don't know. My oldest daughter's working full-time, but part-time, helping me out. But the thing about this is you jump into a business like this, you jump into Instant App Wizard, and then you don't know what you don't know yet. And that's something there's a little bit of a learning curve. And the one thing I think I want to share with everybody here tonight is the fact that when it comes to who you're going to go in and talk to in a business and how you market Instant App Wizard and apps in general and the products that, the services that we can offer them, you have to know how you're going to approach them, and you have to know how to educate them to where they understand what you have and why they need it.
Amen, sister.
And that is the key. Education here is really the key, because as it stands right now, the majority of business owners that I come in contact with, whether I approach them or just happen to meet them in the store grocery line, is a lot of those owners are probably the same age as I am, or somewhere nearabouts. There's not a whole lot of people in their 20s that have that are actually owning a business and running a brick and mortar business. But they're not necessarily as savvy about things like smartphones. A lot of them still have that little clamshell phone in their pocket. But you've got to make the connection. You have to make them understand is that even if you don't understand everything about a mobile web app, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner, all of your customers already do. Most of your customers already do. More than 50% of your customers already do. I can promise you that, because when they come in and sit down at your restaurant, or they walk in to shop in your store, they've got one in their hand, in their pocket, on their ear. They're staring at it, poking at it, looking at it, and if you're not in front of them on that phone, you're losing out on the game. You're really not in the game. So that's the number one thing. I think that you have to know who it is you're approaching and how to approach them so that they understand. And education it's sensitive to the person that you're speaking with. I love it when I walk into a business and the first person I talk to says, pulls out his iPhone 5 and says, "What do you got? Show it to me." I'm like, whoa, you are on the fast roller coaster now.
Right. Well,
go ahead, Carrie.
I was speaking to one of our resellers the other day, and she said the same thing, and I think it's very important that you brought that up, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. Education is key in this business. I'm going to share with you tonight our marketing plan for your customers' business, and I know some of you use it, some of you don't. For the new people on board, it's a blueprint really to keep you in line. But the best thing about it, and the reason I'm going to show it, is exactly what Shari was talking about. Education and stepping through this program is very important for your clients to understand. One of the questions that I was talking to someone on the phone about the other day is they wanted to know what the longevity of the product was going to be for them. What's it going to do for them in a year from now? And because the only thing that they understood is that they had an app in their hand, or they had a cell phone with some buttons on it, and they didn't really understand the power of the marketing plan behind that. So it's very important that you educate those as you go out and talk to people. So we're going to go a little bit into that business plan here in a little bit. But yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up.
Okay, and let me move on to the once you've got a customer, and I know Carrie wanted me to talk a little bit. You guys are looking at it on the screen. One of my clients here is actually a restaurant owner, and there's several of these restaurants. 2 or 3 of them are independently owned, and then I'm actually working with the marketing director for the original Mario's, and he's got 5 restaurants of his own. So we're negotiating right now to get apps for his other 5 stores, because I've got a couple of his satellite locations, and this happens to be one of them. This is actually right here in my town in Indio, and one of the things that I want to bring value to my customers. I want to be able to make some income. I need to be paid for my time, but I need to bring value to them. So one of the things I was telling Carrie about was this.
Shari, can you hear me? For some reason, I just lost you. Okay, I can hear you now. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Sorry. All right, well, I'll rewind a little bit. What's on the screen right now is actually a table tent that I'm using, or that I've actually made and sold to one of my clients here in Indio. They own a restaurant, Mario's. And what this is, it's actually, what I do is I set up a little JPEG, and being a graphic artist, I kind of get the edge. But some of this stuff isn't too hard to go in and figure out, or if you've got somebody that can show you. Take a class, if you want to know, because some of this stuff is so simple. It's just picking up this information, typing in what you want to see, and dropping in the logo and dropping in the QR code. It's an Italian restaurant, so I just use this little, checkerboard background, gingham background, like an Italian tablecloth. But what this does is I actually just printed these for them. When I sold it to them, and when I got them started and told them they were going to need some way to distribute their information, and I thought table tents were the way to go. They actually have napkin holders that, that holds the cheese and the salt and everything. It's got a little ring at the top. They're wrought iron. A lot of restaurants have them. Sometimes they're stainless steel, but you put something in the top of those. And that's why there's this big blank spot in the bottom of this picture here, because I took one of those home with me when we first got started with their business, their app, and I designed it based so that when it was printed it would fit right in that ring and nothing would be obscured by the little ring that holds onto it. And then we just put 2 photographs back to back and slip them right into the holder.
Now you just said a key word there, and the photograph. Take kind of. And you might have said this a while ago when I lost you there. Let them know exactly what that is that they're looking at.
Okay. This is a simple 4x6 JPEG that I created. I'm a Photoshop user, but a lot of programs will create this. Even PowerPoint, you could create something this simple. And it's just a layout that I did where I just put a background in there, which is the checkerboard, and then I just dropped in all the graphics, just imported them into the program and put them in there, made them the right size, and shuffled them around to make sure that they looked like they belonged there, and then typed in the words that you're looking at on the screen. Get the discounts and special offers, all that stuff is just, it's just enhanced a little bit with some outlining, but it's just typed in. And then what I do with this is I took this and I take these and I have them sent to Costco to print. It's a 4x6 photograph. I know that fits their little table holder, so you have to be sure. But here's the deal. They know I bring value to them, because when I told them I would do a nice little layout for their table cards, I told them I normally charge $50, but I discount it by 50%, because that for them is perceived value. I'm going to give them a discount because they're good customers and they're going to let me do that print work. So I charged them $25, which they believed was half the cost of me doing it. And I went ahead and had them printed, and I think I maybe doubled the price on them. I'd have to look at the invoice and see what I charged them. But if you send this off to a Costco, and I recommend Costco or any of the big box stores because they have some of the best photographic equipment, and it costs 35 or 36 cents a piece to print each one of these. And now for under $1, I can get them, I mean the cost of setup is one thing, but under $1 per card, I can put something on their table that isn't going to cost me a fortune if any of that information needs to change.
And it's a very high quality. Do you do the gloss? Is that a gloss picture? I mean, it looks. I mean, it's very high quality for one.
Right. Well, number one, if you are going to start doing some graphic stuff yourself, I would make sure that whatever program you're working in is at least 300 DPI. For graphics on the internet don't need to be as high quality as they do in print, but 300 DPI is the recommended. That's dots per square inch and dots per inch in a graphics program. And I would work with anything you work with in 300 DPI because it's going to come out. And no, I do not print anything in gloss. I hate gloss. I do, Gary. I hate it because it's a reflective surface, and especially think about that. If you're in a dark restaurant and you're trying to line up your camera phone to scan this QR code and it's glossy, you get a flashback in your face. Or the camera can't see it because
that is so true. Didn't think about that.
So I would go with a matte or a satin finish. And I mean, because I'm a photographer, I've had an account with Costco for a heck of a long time. They are where I get all my printing done for all my photographs for any work that I do as far as photography goes. Because, and I would stay away from, unless you're really forced into it, I'd stay away from the drugstore. For one thing, they're overpriced, like the Walgreens, and nothing wrong with Walgreens. Love Walgreens, up there all the time myself, but not for photos. They don't usually print in a flat. They usually print things glossy on a cheap paper with a very inexpensive machine, because each one of those Walgreens has to have their own machine, whereas a big box store, it's got some high-end equipment because it's doing some pretty good volume. And you'll get a better product if you go to one of the larger, the larger retailers to do your printing like that. But go to Costco.com, sign up for a photo. You can log in. They don't let you if you do this online and you submit something you want printed online, you can't really mess it up because they show you where the crop is going to be. If you couldn't figure out the exact sizes and you just kind of guessed, you could actually make it fit right there on the Costco website to where you get what you're looking for. It takes a little practice if you haven't done anything with any kind of graphics program, but there's a lot of, you could even probably put something together seriously in Microsoft. I wouldn't recommend it, but in Microsoft Word, you can import stuff and type over the top of it in Microsoft Word if you've got a little experience with that. But I was telling you the other day, Carrie, I like using PowerPoint to do a lot of graphic stuff. It's one of the simplest programs to learn, and they kind of let you cheat by giving you some fancy writing and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know if, until Shari told me that the other day, and some of you are probably sitting there saying the same thing I did. And let me tell you, matter of fact, you're looking at a PowerPoint slide presentation. I probably do 200 or 300 slides a week, and putting together a graphical slide, and I never thought one time about using that slide to design a graphic with. Yet that's what I do every week. And when she said that, I thought, wow, and just about everybody has PowerPoint in their computer. And the great thing about PowerPoint is, and that's why I use Fireworks. It's an Adobe product, kind of like Photoshop, but it's drag and drop. I mean, you can put things where you want, and you can click on it, and you can move it and shift it around, and what a great idea that is.
Well, I highly recommend anybody who doesn't know anything about graphics and they just want to go in and play around with some, it's so simple. The instructions are right there on your screen to insert a photograph. Well, okay, insert the QR code. You can insert, there's a button at the top in PowerPoint that says insert. There's some fancy writing that's already preset.
Right.
And then you can go up there at the top and you can see there's little shapes. If you're looking for a square or a rectangle, I think I did the Mario's logo you're looking at with a little. I think I dropped their logo in there, and maybe I used Photoshop to clean it up around the edges. But I think I made an oval in there because it was faster than messing around with Photoshop. And then if you group everything together, once you have everything together on that PowerPoint the way you want to see it, just use the whole screen if you want to. Group everything together. Just grab everything, drag a cursor over everything to where you've selected everything, or go up to the top and say select all, and then hit Control-G or tell it you want to group those things together, and then you can actually export the whole thing as a PNG, as a PNG file, which is exactly what we need to use for Photoshop files. I use that. I am back and forth between Photoshop and PowerPoint. I even use PowerPoint to start off creating videos when I'm making videos for some of my clients. I've made a few videos for some people too. PowerPoint's great. I'd recommend anybody go jump on PowerPoint.
And I know some of you are probably sitting there thinking, gosh, man, graphics, I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to tell you, I know everybody sees me use my computer every week, but I'm a computer dummy, and I go to YouTube for everything. I mean, if I need to learn how to do something or make something or figure something out, I've been using PowerPoint for a long, long time, and I go to YouTube all the time and pull up PowerPoint videos to see how to do something that I either can't figure out how to do or make it work like I want to, and I just go find me a YouTube video. I'm not much of a reader. Reading, I just don't read, but I can, if somebody can show me how to do it, then I can stop the video and go back and look how to do it. So I highly recommend that each one of you on tonight find you a little graphics program. There's 100 of them. I was going to start trying to teach a couple of these graphics programs, but I'll be honest with you, it's a extreme learning curve for me to go out and use something that I'm not used to. And I'd rather spend my time doing something productive than trying to figure out how to use something I don't know how to use. But what I'm saying is, get the PowerPoint or find something that you can use. That GIMP program is a very good program. Photoshop is an exceptional program. There's even the free programs in your Windows. I know there's free programs in if you have a Mac. But learn how to use those programs. Find one that you're comfortable with and just sit down and play with it. It's like my wife, I don't think my wife has ever turned on a computer. It's because she's afraid she'll mess something up. Trust me, you can't mess anything up on a computer unless you go to deleting files. So screw it up, turn it off, turn it back on, and start over again. But you can make a ton of money doing your own, and the photo deal with this, taking these to Costco, making these actual 4x6 pictures at 35 cents a piece, you're giving them a very high quality product at a very inexpensive price that you can mark up. And we're going to talk about making money here in a minute and grouping things. She said group, and that's a great word, because I'm going to talk about grouping in a moment. But yes, ma'am.
Let me make a correction, because I think I said a 4x6 at Costco was about 35 cents. It's actually a 5x7. It's a 5x7.
Wow.
That's 35 cents. The 4x6s, I think, are 16 cents.
So there you go. 5x7.
You can do it. Yeah, 5x7 is actually 30. I think I did this in both sides for them. But I think I know the 5x7s are like 35 or 36 or 37 cents, something like that. But the 4x6 photographs, they're only 15, 16 cents a piece. So, I mean, if you got a restaurant with 40 tables and you need to make 2 4x6s so they can go back to back on that little table card in the middle, then, it's 32 cents out of your pocket. You can mark it up to double that for 75 cents.
Easy.
And they got their table covered. And I'm pretty sure that's what I did with them. I was thinking I didn't charge them all that much, but that's why, because we did print 4x6s for them, and at 16 cents a piece, you're not going to find a printer that will touch it and give you the quality that you can get with a matte photograph. And these are not, I mean, obviously table tents, anything on a table where there's food and drinks and kids, I mean, there's, the attrition rate's kind of ridiculous for those kind of things.
Right.
They get torn up. I think they've reordered a set of 20 or 30 from me, because stuff happens. But when stuff happens to something that didn't cost them very much to begin with, they have no problem coming back to you. And then that's where the value comes in as well. And I'm looking out for them, and I'm keeping their costs under control, because that's paramount to any restaurant or any business owner.
That's right.
How much is this going to cost me?
That's right. And you're exactly right. It's paramount, especially in this day and time. I mean, everybody understands where the economy's at today, and everybody's looking to save money. And Shari has learned to take a product, give high quality, extreme value at a very low cost, and still make a great profit. I mean, she's doubling her money. So anytime you can make 100%, how's
that going to hurt?
No. But well, Shari, I greatly appreciate you. Does anybody, before Shari gets off here, if you have a question for her, if you'll just type it in the box real quick, and I'll be more than happy to relay that. She can answer your question while she's right online. There's a question box there. Some of you are new. I don't know if you've ever used the question box, But if you have a question for her real quick, be more than happy to throw one out there.
I know that I don't bite, and I'm sure you don't bite either. So if anybody asks us a question, I think we'd be happy to answer. And listen, the only question, as far as I'm concerned, it's a stupid question, is the one you should have asked and didn't. So ask any question at all.
PJ, I saw you had your hand. Okay. Yeah, of course there's cost in doing business. Now, let me ask you, and that's a good question. Do you do a setup fee, Shari, when you do those?
Well, you know what? I charge them. No, I've already sold them the app. Now, with the customers that I have that are restaurant owners that have this table tent situation, I've already sold them the setup cost of the app, and I have a set price for my setup cost. You know, I go from a basic, and then I go up from there. You know, every restaurant's a little different. And then the monthly that they're going to pay, and I don't sell any restaurant apps without any texting because, as a matter of fact, this owner of this restaurant here, just throw this in here, but I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he was just tickled pink because he sent out a text message to, I think they have about 60 or 70 subscribers on their text list now, and they sent out a text a couple weeks ago, and he said that within an hour they had 2 tables of 6 people that came in because of that.
Wow.
Now that's 12 people that walked into their restaurant because of a simple text that this, and I mean, you know, if you can, and they don't get crazy. They only send out messages maybe when, you know, when the opportunity arises. But I encourage them to put something out there about once a week because these are their customers and they're expecting. They joined the VIP club. They want to hear what kind of deals you got.
Sure.
You want to plant a seed in their, you know, bug in their ear. And I asked them. I said, look, try not to expire whatever it is you're offering that day that you're putting the message out. Try and go at least 2 days on the special, so they got a chance to come in and take advantage of it when you have a deal that you're putting out there. But yeah, no. On top of the setup and on top of the monthly, I did charge them $25 to do the layout. I told them I would give them a 50% discount because I'm a good business person and I normally would charge that. But since they signed up with me today, I'm gonna give you a deal. I'm gonna give you half off of the setup for the layout, and then I charged them. I think I marked it up 100%, whatever it cost me, depending on how many table tent cards they needed. Whatever my price was, I just doubled it and charged them that, and I gave them the bill when I dropped off the cards and told them, let's go, let's get this app, let's launch it, and you know, we went from there. So
Rod's asking the question, what do you typically print, 4x6s or 5x7s?
You know, it depends on the, it depends on the restaurant, and depends on what they have and what kind of table situation they have. For this particular restaurant, we could actually put a 5x7 on their table because they had plenty of room and they had that nifty little card holder in the middle of the table. Now, another restaurant that I have that's it's an Italian restaurant also, but they didn't have a whole lot of table space. So I actually made a smaller size. I think I did a half of a 5x7. I set it 2 up, you know, two cards, you know, side by side on a 5x7, so we could print one 5x7 and get 2 cards out of it by cutting them in half. And they have so much wall space and a lot of booths, and they have brick walls. So they just went along with the piece of double stick tape, and they stuck their little table tents right on the wall alongside the tables. And then I think we had something for the other tables that are in the middle of the room that just a little acrylic holder that held those. So it depends on what that particular, and that's what I look at when I go in and I assess and they're ready to buy the app. I say, okay, let's take a look at what you're going to need for marketing material, and we just go from right there. And then I make the judgment based on what they have, and you know, they're looking to you for answers, by the way.
Right, exactly, and that's a good point that Shari makes. You are the professional when you walk into these establishments. They're looking for you for the answer to tell them what they need. And based on what she was just saying, she goes in and she does a survey of the area. Is the tables large or the table small? Where can I put those things? Steve asked a question here, and Steve, I'll answer this question for you. Steve says, do you recommend managing the marketing blast for clients, or do you recommend to business owners they do their own blasting? I always recommend that you allow them to control their own marketing with their blast. The reason for that is that can get extremely time-consuming for you. Now, if they want to pay for that and you want to include that as a service, for two things. You're going to have to get the information from them. You're going to have to set it up. You're going to have to take time out of your day, and you're going to be the one that has to send it out. Okay? Now, you have to be responsible if you mess it up. You have to be responsible if you type it wrong. You have to be responsible if you send out the wrong thing. So me personally, I would allow them, and that's why we set it up to where they can go into the marketing platform.
Go in and teach them. Teach them how to use it. Teach them how to put that app on their phone and send their messages. A lot of restaurant owners don't have a computer that's set up to be on the internet at their restaurant. That's a place of business for them, and they're not out there, you know, they're not out there sitting there surfing the web in their office. A lot of them, their internet connection is their smartphone, if they've got one.
And you all know that we can do this from our smartphone.
Yep. It's crazy that I I think it would be crazy if Instant App Wizard didn't have an app to do the marketing with.
Yeah,
I would think that would be crazy. But it's a great tool.
Great tool. Ethan says, and Ethan, this is exactly right. Ethan says we're not app people. We're marketing consultants, and these folks are looking at us for that. PJ, I see you got your hand up again, buddy. You're welcome to, if you have a question, just type it in the box there. We'll be more than happy to answer it. Any more questions here before we roll on? I like this format. I like this bantering back and forth here. Okay, well, Shari, I greatly appreciate you so much for taking time. I know how busy your schedule is because I know how tough it is for you and I to take 10 minutes to talk to each other. But I want to thank you again for putting this together tonight and coming on board and sharing with us. It's always a pleasure. I always enjoy spending time with you. So.
Well, thank you, Carrie, for having me on tonight. I appreciate it. And anytime you want me to come back on, I'll be happy to share whatever. It's part of, I think, what it takes to be a good entrepreneur and a good business owner in this type of business is sharing what you know with other people so that you can cut their learning curve down just a little bit. And I've learned a lot from other people in the same industry and in other businesses as well. So I depend on, and like you say, you go on YouTube. I do too. We cheat. We go find out from somebody else how to do it, do the quick way.
That's right. That's right.
So anytime you need me to come back on and have a conversation, I'll be more than happy to. Carrie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And just to let you know, everybody is the thanks are just scrolling on my screen to tell you thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you guys for being on the webinar tonight. It was a pleasure sharing information with all of you. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Okay, God bless, Shari. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue rolling on here. Raj, I want to answer your question real quick. And we always tell everybody, the first thing you need to do, Raj, is build your own mobile app. And I'll go in at the end of the training here and show you. I believe Raj is new to Instant App Wizard, and I'll go in and show you. Just remind me when I get to the end of the training here. But we're going to roll on. And I want to just continue on just a little bit about what Shari was saying. I've probably, I don't know, talked to half a dozen people in the last 2 weeks where they're confused at kind of what they're walking in doing when they go into these customers. This is what I recommend you do. You need to put together some packages of what you're selling. If you're doing table tents, and window clings, if you're doing table tents and window clings and business cards, if you're doing packages of 50, if you're doing packages of 25, you need to sit down starting today and you say, okay, I want to offer this package. I'm going to offer an app and the marketing platform, 25 cards that's got their QR code and their business information on it that they can put up at the counter, or 500 cards so they can pass out that card to every single customer. I'm going to do 3 window clings in my package. I'm going to do 25 table tents. And everybody understand, a table tent is not necessarily for a restaurant. I go in, matter of fact, I just got my tires put on about 3 weeks ago. I got brand new tires put on my truck at Discount Tire in Greenville, Texas. And when you walk into their business and you walk up to their counter, they've got a table tent sitting there. And you know Carrie pulled out his phone, and the guy never said anything about it. Carrie scanned the table tent, and lo and behold, guess what it did? It gave me a 10% discount on my tires. So table tents are for anything and everything. They're just not they're called table tents, but they can be set up on counters. They can be a counter tent. They can be a coffee table tent. I mean, there's many ways to use the table tent. So don't get stuck in your mind that a table tent is just for a restaurant. They're for every place that has a display, a place, a counter, or somewhere. You can put them right next to their cash registers. You can put them if it's a beauty shop. Every single beauty shop I've ever been in, and you say, well, Carrie, what was you doing in beauty shops? Believe it or not, I used to sell beauty products to beauty shops, and I probably should have used a few of them. But so take that and put together your packages. Know what you're selling, put it all together, and when you're talking to someone, you've got package A at $99.95. Package B at $149.95, package C, and now you give them options. And it kind of goes back to what Ethan said a while ago. You're consulting them, you're showing them, you're sharing with them, you're teaching them, you're giving them options at what they need to do. Now, naturally, they're going to ask you, well, what do you think I should get first? Okay? This is a good clue for how you should do this. If you've got package A, B, and C, your package B needs to be the package for everyone. Okay? That needs to be the package. So make sure the package B kind of covers everything. If your average restaurant has 40 tables, always do package B with 50 table tents and 3 window clings and 250 business cards. Okay? So, but put together your packages so that when you walk into a customer, you have something to offer other than, hey, I'm just here to sell you an app. And then they're really confused because they don't really know what that app is to begin with. Kind of like, and I'll tell you, believe it or not, I've had 4 people call me this week and say, you know what we need to do, Carrie? And they're not telling me this is what I need to do. They're saying this is what they need to do. We need to start really educating our customers. One of our resellers is getting ready to start doing presentations. Okay, going to go get a hotel, going to set up a room, going to go out and invite a bunch of business owners in. And let me tell you, the numbers don't lie. These numbers are stand for everything you do. You're going to get about 30%. Okay, so if you go out and pass out 500 cards, you're going to get about 30% of those. Okay, if you go out and so that's about 150 people. Okay, so plan for that. Your first couple of times you do it, you may only get 10%. You kind of have to play with the marketing strategies and that kind of stuff. Set up educational. You think about this, okay? Most of those rooms at those hotels run you about $300, okay? $300, and they usually seat about 50 to 75 people. If you have 50 people in there and you close 30% of those, you just closed 15 people, okay? And whatever your fees are, whatever your prices are, you just paid for your night plus made a profit. So it's a great way to market, but it's not only is it a great way to market, it's a great way to start educating the public business owner, the business owners in your area. So think about that, okay? Think about what you're selling, put together your packages. Okay, the control panel update, I'm not going to go real deep into this, okay? I just want to show you a couple of things because I've had a couple of people already ask me what this is and what it means. And this pretty much will tell us, yes, that's a good point, Josephine, and I'm going to talk to, and I'll add that in right after this. It says edit web app beta. Our programmers are going in and they're spiffing up and sprucing up some of the technology behind the control panel to make it faster, to make things load differently so it's faster. They're also going in and doing some things that create the apps to make the apps load faster. So if you see this right here, edit web app beta, okay? That doesn't mean anything's changed in here, just the technology behind there. And he just put that in there so he would know, okay? And so that I would know that if anybody asks, is anything changing, it is. And he's doing it for a very specific purpose. The faster a web app loads, we all know not every area is 4G, okay? Some areas say they're 3G, and I don't think they're any G, okay, because you just can't get nothing to load. He's making it so these web apps load very quick, okay, and he's doing that by changing the format of how everything works. I'm not a programmer, but I just know that because that's what he told me. So if you see that, and I've had several questions about that, how does that, what does that mean? And that's what it means. He's in doing some tweaking and doing some training. Joseph Vaughn just made a very good point. The #1 fastest growing way to reach out and talk to people today is through webinars, okay? Webinars can reach more people faster than anything out there you do. Make you a ticket, just like a ticket to a movie theater or something, a ticket, okay? And you can go to your printer and you can say, I want some tickets made up, and invite people to webinars, okay? The custom webinars. If you haven't seen our custom webinar program, just click on custom webinar right here, okay? And it will tell you all about it, all right? I've got a webinar hooked to this one, so it shows the webinar. But if you have not taken a look at the custom webinar, just go into this button right here and click on custom webinar. Webinars, guys, that's what you're on right now, okay? I've got a completely packed house tonight. Matter of fact, I've had 2 emails saying that they couldn't get in, and I knew that was going to happen, okay? You're on a webinar being educated. Your customers can do the same thing through the custom webinars. So go to that, and thank you, Joseph, for pointing that out. And it's a great way. Trust me, you can reach out and touch a lot of people. Go out and invite 300 or 400 people a day to a webinar. That's right. And like Joseph said, it's hands off. Actually, I'm doing the work for you because I'm the one that created the webinar. So you don't have to do anything except invite them, you know, and it works very, very, very well. So let me come back over here. Let me move this screen. Well, I said I was. And that's the control panel update for tonight. Let's talk real quick. We've got about 20 minutes. I want to talk about closing the deal. We've been talking over the last several weeks about sales. And I want to talk about closing the deal. And tonight, the first thing I want to talk to you about is testing the customer's temperature through a trial close. Sometimes we get very anxious when we're in talking to a customer. Okay, and there's a cycle that you must go through when you're talking to a customer, and what it does is it keeps you on track. Okay, we talked about building rapport. You don't ever want to do, I don't like the word cold call, okay? Cold calling is really a thing of the past. Even though we walk in and we introduce ourselves, the best thing that most salesmen, and we've all been in this situation, where someone comes up to you and the first thing they do is they start selling you, okay? Don't do that. Make it a warm, friendly, ask questions. Hey, how you doing? I told you, and I do it all the time, and I've got I won't say a bad habit of it, but I do it every time I walk into a business. The first question out of my mouth is, hey, how's business going? They're going to tell you one of 2 things, and we talked about this, and you can go back and look in some of the previous trainings in the training section. They're either going to tell you it's going really good or it's going really bad, and neither one of those is a bad answer, okay? So you're able to play off of that. So build the rapport, okay? Soften everything up and make it a warm call, because now you're talking to a friend. But as you're talking to that person, and this goes back to the education phase that we're talking about, your client is either going to want what you have or he's not going to want what you have. And the most important event of the whole sales cycle is closing the deal, okay? Some people are closers or they're not. some people think, well, man, if I go back 500 times, I'm eventually going to get them. You're right. You'll eventually wear them out, okay, but they're not going to be a quality customer, okay? Trial closes test the temperature of your client. It tells you where you're at, how you're doing, what you're doing, and exactly when you need to close, okay? The trial close is checking in with the prospect to get their opinion. It differs from the actual close because you're getting feedback, you're getting information, okay? You're not asking for a final decision. Plus, it completely improves the effectiveness of the sale. I say that I've probably said this a million times on these calls. If you don't ask, you won't know. You have to ask questions when talking to your clients. You have to ask questions when spending time with them to know if you're getting through to them, if they even understand what you're talking about, or if you need to go more into an education process in order for them to understand what you're discussing with them, okay? Here's a few trial closes, okay? Jim, what do you think of what we have discussed so far? Well, Carrie, I really like it, man. This is the neatest thing I've ever seen. You know you're on the same page. If he says, well, I'm not really sure. What did that just tell me? Carrie don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Okay? I've not gotten through. I've not made myself clear. I've not shared anything with them. Could you just ask them if they would like more business? There you go. Great point, Joe. Could you just ask them if they would like more business? Carrie, would you like more business? Well, heck no. I don't know of any business owner that's going to say that unless they're just arrogant and ignorant. Okay? And there are some of those out there. John, what are your feelings for what we have demonstrated today? John, how do you feel about what I've showed you? John, what do you think of our marketing platform? Now, I didn't say anything about a mobile app, did I? Even though I'm showing him the mobile app, what do I want him to see that as? I want him to see that as a tool. Cynthia out in California, and she's a ball of fire. She calls her apps business cards on steroids. Okay? Business cards on steroids. John, how do you feel about this marketing platform that we just talked about? Dude, that is the neatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay? You know it's time to close the deal. John, we talked about your employees being able to be reached at a moment's notice through SMS texting when someone doesn't show up for work. How do you feel that feature would help your operation? Man, that's the greatest thing in the world because it takes me 2 hours if somebody calls in. Okay? Is this something that you could see your employees using? All right, we're talking about text messaging here. All right? Here's as simple as it gets. Jim, do you want to continue forward with these discussions? If that guy is sitting there and he's looking around and he's twiddling his thumbs and he's diddling about and he has no more inkling of what you want to talk about, he could care less if you was even there, but he's just a nice guy, okay? If you see someone like that, you're really wasting your time. So ask the question. Jim, you seem really occupied, and I know that you're really busy. Would you like to continue forward with these discussions? Now, he may jump across the table and say, absolutely, man, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Maybe he's one of those people who just cannot get embedded into your conversation, but he hears everything you're saying. Or he will save you a ton of time and say, you know what, Carrie, I'm really not interested in this at all. Not at all. It's just not for me. I'll tell you what, Jim, here's my business card. Go on and watch this webinar. Just when you're by yourself, take a look at this webinar. Okay? What direction do you want to go from here? You've exhausted everything. You've gone through the sale. You've showed him the marketing platform. You showed him how the app can help him. You showed him how the marketing platform can help him. You've showed him QR code marketing. You showed him reputation management. You've showed him Foursquare. You've showed him absolutely everything. Okay? Jim, what direction do you want to go from here? Well, I'm ready to do this. Great. Okay? It just absolutely blows their mind when you ask them, are they ready to go? Most salesmen don't ask for the sale. And I know that sounds astonishing. That's why most salesmen fail, because they will not ask for the deal. The main benefit, okay, of the trial close is that it gives the salesperson valuable information on what is going on the prospect's side. If you don't know if you're getting through to your prospect, why would you sit there and waste yours and or his time? If you don't think that he understands what you're saying, yet you continue to go through your sales process and you never test the waters, you never ask a trial closing question. If you don't take that time, you will not know if he's hot or cold. You're never going to close him if you don't know that. By having more information, this is key, okay? The more information you have about your prospect, and I recommend before you even go, you Google his business, you go on Yelp, you go on all those places. We give you the tools to do that. Go on and get all the information you can about his business. Now you're going to go in and you're going to talk to him face to face. Now you're really going to dig, okay? And now you're going to find out your prospect's perception of the solution to his problem. Okay? You're gaining information. You've got information about his business. You've got information about him. Now you're getting information from him about what his needs are. Okay? You will be better able to qualify or disqualify. And you're probably sitting there saying, Carrie, you've lost your mind. Why in the world would I go spend 30 minutes with someone and disqualify them? Why would I lose that opportunity? If they're going to be a bad customer, you're better off cutting your losses up front than going through what you'll go through with that client. Trust me. You need to find out, is he really interested in it? Or is he just pulling your chain? You're going to do all the work, and next month he says, listen, this ain't for me. I don't even know what I bought it for. Okay? Qualify him or disqualify him. Let's talk about paying. If he can't afford it, there's no use giving out charity every day. You'll go broke. Okay? John, this is $99 a month. As soon as you say that, watch that facial expression. Expressions talk just as much as them opening their mouth. If it doesn't look like it phases him a bit, then you know you don't have a problem. Jim, I just wanted to let you know, buddy, now the price on this is going to be $572 a month. Man, that's great. I can't believe you've got a product with a price like that. Then you know you don't have a problem. Jim, this is going to be $562 a month. $562 a month? You've got to be kidding me. Okay, now you got to ask more questions. Jim, what is it about the price that concerns you? Well, I don't have that kind of money. Well, Jim, maybe we need to walk you back and get you started with our starter package. Okay? Well, how much is that? Well, our starter package is $197 set up and $99 a month. There ain't no way. Cut it off. Okay, there's no use walking down your package and degrading what you do by saying, well, I tell you what, John, I'll just do it for $39. You just took a $562 package down to $99. Now you're going to do it for $32, and he ain't going to pay that either. Okay? It allows you to navigate through the sale. It keeps you on track. All right? It allows you to collect your thoughts, and it keeps you on track. Cost of not using a trial close question? Everything. It'll cost you the sale. Will you close some of them? Sure you will. Okay? My grandfather used to tell me, every squirrel finds a nut sometime. Okay? Cost of not using trial close questions, you need to get in the habit of that. All right? The word is this, is cost effective. That's a good, is this cost effective? Okay? Is this cost effective? If it's not cost effective for them now, it'll never be cost effective for them. All right? And like Joseph says, it'll give you a greater ROI. And as Zig always says, AAFTO, always ask for the order. If you don't ask, you will never receive. And with that, man, boy, this has been the fastest hour I've ever done in my life. I'm going to go in real quick. We had a question from Raj. Raj says, is there a branded mobile app? Let me go into my Instant App Wizard control panel. Move this over. Raj, the first thing you want to do is create your app, okay? When you create your app, you have the opportunity when you go into branding, okay? Web apps branding, put your information right here. This is for the bottom of all your apps right here. Website branding, your URL domain, okay, your general settings, homepage settings, About Us page settings, mobile app redirect settings. If I'm going too fast, please stop me, okay? I just do this so much. Okay, I'll come right back to you, Ethan. So, go into website branding. The first thing you want to do is you want to create your mobile app, okay? Create your mobile app. You bet, Joseph. You're going to come in down here to mobile app redirect settings. When they go to your mobile app, it will redirect to the app that you've built, your branded app. You need to build your own branded app. And then you can redirect your branded website to right here, okay? Which web app would you like your visitors directed to if they visit your reseller website from their mobile phone? And of course, I have it go to here. Okay? That answer your question, Raj? Everything on this site is yours to use. Ethan's talking about, can I use everything in this site? Can I use pictures? Can I use everything in this site you can use? Okay? The marketing materials. You have the rights to all these marketing materials. Your resources, and I'm going to close with this, and I want to close with this, and this will be a great place for me to close with this. Everything in here is what we call white label, okay? You put your name on it. See right here where it says this personalized marketing plan will provide you with detailed information on how, your company name here, okay? Their company name. These are yours to use. If you want to use this graphic, you can use that graphic. Okay, if you want to come in and take a graphic and make sure one of the things that a lot of people say is, well, that's got Instant App Wizard on it, like right here, okay? Well, if you want to use something out of here, like that right there. Make sure, and you want to cut it out. Okay, I'm going to cut that out because I want to use that graphic. Okay, and there's that graphic. If I want to use that graphic, you can use that graphic. Okay, you're more than welcome to use these products to create your products. That's what this site is for. Okay, this is your business site. This is your control panel. Yep, Ethan says he changed his own QR code in his site. You can do anything in here you want. This is your products, okay? Everything is white label, the marketing materials, all the media presentations. The number one question I have is, can I take some of your YouTubes and brand them for myself? Yes, you can, if you know how to do that, okay? I recommend Camtasia. Shari says Jing is the free version of screen capture made by the same company as Snagit, Jing, okay? And there's also a Camtasia. There's a free Camtasia too. I can't think what it's called. I got the paid version, but the free version doesn't do as much. But let me go back here. Raj says if they use mobile phone to send messages, is that a branded site? Are you talking about if you built a site for someone, Raj? I'm losing you here somewhere, buddy. Yeah, that's their site. You build it, you do with it, you brand it to them. Now, on the bottom here, your brand is here. Okay, this right here, you branded it. That's your brand. That's why it's so important for your branding, and I talk about that all the time. Branding is so important. I just made a deal today with a cab company. He's got about 200 hotels where he puts business cards, where they go in and get his name, and we're going to build mobile apps for his cab company. And everybody, and who goes and stays in hotels and takes cabs to the airport? Cam Studio is the free version. Thank you, Shari. Business owners. So I'm doing his cab company. I'm designing his business card for him because I want to make sure it says powered by Moby Ad Group. His app will also say powered by Moby Ad Group. This guy probably takes, gosh, man, maybe 200 people a week to the airport. Okay, that are picking up business cards in these hotels. I'm so excited I can't stand it. All right, and so cab company. I mean, who would have thought, man? Cam, hang on just one second. Shari wrote that in there. Cam Studio is the free version, Roger. My other Roger. Yeah, cab company. Who would have thunk it, right? Robert Schoolcraft is asking about the webinar. Okay, what you get is a complete webinar system that has autoresponders built into it, and you have a sign-up page. It also goes to the webinar page, and it's got a link in there that will send them the webinar after, so they can always have a link that goes into the webinar. The webinars are customized with your information in the front and back. They are white label, and they're customized with your information in there. There is a demonstration in the custom webinar button that you can watch. There's also a, it's one webinar. It's one webinar. And it tells it what it does is it attracts traffic for you, and it collects their information so that you can follow up with them. And it's one sales webinar. Okay, there's an introduction on the front page of your business. There's an introduction in the thank you page, and then the webinar has an introduction in the front and a call to action at the end. And he's asking about the are you talking about the YouTube videos, Robert? I do so many videos. The branded videos that I did in December, I'll probably do that again around December the 15th. Those worked out very, very well. Matter of fact, everybody's #1 and #2 in YouTube and video, Google Video, and probably 90% of them on the front page of Google. It worked out very well. Probably around the 15th, I'll send out another email. That takes me a full week when I do those. I mean, it's very time consuming, so I have to set aside specific time for that. But I'll let everybody know when I do the YouTube videos again. You're very welcome. Any more questions here? Raj, did I answer all your questions, buddy? Very good. I don't like to leave anybody hanging. Sometimes I get to talking. I got so many questions that come across this thing. I get to talking and I get confused on myself. But yeah, that cab company, I've had 3 people just say, man, that cab company thing's a great idea. Let me tell you, and I'll tell you how that works, but I think that is going to drive a ton of business. I was so excited today when I got that deal. Matter of fact, when I get off here, I've got to start work on it. So this will be another 3 o'clock morning. Webinar replays, as in what webinars are you talking? Are you talking about the trainings, PJ? These webinars? Okay, good question. If you will go into training videos, weekly sales training archives, and here they all are. There's, I don't know, 21, 22, 22. This is week 23. This is actually week 24, but I took last week off. So we'll have 51 weeks of training this year. Maybe it depends on when the 4th of July falls. But yeah, all the training videos are right here. And I also send out a link when I upload the videos. And I highly recommend, let me say this again, sign up for our YouTube channel. Sometimes I get busy and don't get the link out for a couple of days, but the video's been uploaded. So that way you'll know. I mean, right on the spot, because I upload that to YouTube. That's a YouTube training, okay? Any more questions? Thank you so much, man. This was like a high tonight. It was great. Is this training required before actually becoming a reseller? No, sir. It's not. You can become a reseller. We do these trainings every single Wednesday night, unless it's a holiday like Christmas fell on Tuesday and I took Wednesday off. But I can tell you, and you can ask the people that consistently come here, these trainings help you become very successful. I just had a man type, these are great. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, buddy. So, Mario, I recommend you come to them, buddy. Thank you, Roger. All right, everybody, good night. God bless, and I will see you next Wednesday. All right, Mario, hey, look forward to working with you, buddy. Everyone have a good evening.